looking at those clouds really stick with us from about lunchtime up until about now. And a lot of that storm activity really coming up from the south as we're talking about a lot of that El Nino conditions pushing that moist air into our area, seeing how it kind of interacts as it makes its way down the Edwards Plateau through the Sierra Madre Mountains. Right now, conditions outside really sitting up at 102 right now. Everybody else hanging out in like the upper 100s or lower 100s rather, and then of course Brady down there in the lower 90s. And that's kind of going to continue to be the trend when we're talking about that heat advisory right now. It's going to come into effect tomorrow at 1 p.m. Kind of getting an idea of where those hotter temperatures are right now, more off to the west, which is where we're going to keep our eyes peeled for any severe weather to develop because those temperatures are so hot. We're getting a good look at the radar right now as you see those clouds that have been with us really stay more towards the south. We could see a potential for maybe a late night development of a thunderstorm, but we kind of get a good look at how those temperatures affect the nation. When we're looking at Dallas and we're looking at sort of the southern states, you can see a lot of those tornadoes, a lot of reports of tornadoes. Storm chasers really active in that area. As we'll see, they are moving kind of along the stationary boundary that comes from Texas and extends all the way out to Florida. And so we're looking at how that stationary boundary is having a lot of those storms develop along that line. And then we look more towards the west coast, and this is going to be our next potential troublemaker as you're seeing a lot of that southwesterly flow coming up into the New Mexico region, and then you're watching this low pressure system really dip down pretty far along the California coast, and that's going to have our eyes keep our eyes peeled on it for any potential weather that could come from it. You're going to see this intense ridging really coming up across Texas, and that's where we're going to see that hot at temperatures where we're talking potentially 108, and then that low pressure system over LA, you're going to see it kind of develop into something a bit more as we get through. You're seeing this ridging really kind of extend further out there. See how that troughing really goes off the west coast, and then you're going to see as that ridging really kind of intensifies. Look how high it goes all the way up into Michigan, Minnesota, and then you'll see this low pressure system all the way over off the west coast really get down there where you're seeing this development way off to the coast there. That's going to interest us because you see the intense pressure of that high that's going to sit over San Angelo. So the moisture tracker going to give you an idea where off to the east coast, you're going to see how these storms are going to stay along that line. And then right behind me, you see this finger of moisture. Look how much it's going to really just direct itself right towards California. And that's what could be that potential when you're talking about these two areas interacting with one another to bring more intense weather into the Concho Valley along that span. So around the evening hours of Thursday, we could see the potential for some of that severe weather. And the same thing is going to be the case when we make our way more towards Saturday, when we were saying, hey, we could see that potential for severe weather because it's been so hot and dry for so long. That's a lot of those ripe conditions. You're going to need to see some of that severe weather. And then for the most part, things are going to stay along that stationary boundary. You can continue on off east. Futurecast is going to show you that those clouds are really going to kind of linger around into this evening. Storms mostly staying off to the east, but a lot of that cloud cover sticking with us in from tonight into tomorrow. Could see a cloudy start with a little bit of haze, and then we kind of see those temperatures right now, 102 in San Angelo across the board, upper 90s, and the triple digits all across the board right now. Those humidity levels are really going to start to show us, hey, that's how much it's drying out, giving us the opportunity to see that's our severe storm outlook that goes into tomorrow, seeing those severe temperatures. Tonight, we're going to see those temperatures drop down into the upper 70s, and then we're going to see them drop up into the triple digit tomorrow, and that's going to be the case as we make our way through the week towards the weekend where you're seeing Father's Day. You can see 105 degrees. Monday seeing 108, but those lows are really staying down to the lower 70s. We'll have more coming up after the break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.